Serving their community is who they are because they love where they live. REMAX 3D Real Estate is proud to bring you Heart of Farmersville, a video series dedicated to celebrating all the wonderfully great things about Farmersville, Texas. On every episode, Dennisha Denney will share Farmersville's story through the stories of the people who call Farmersville home. This is Heart of Farmersville.
Thank you so much for watching Heart of Farmersville. Our show would not be possible without our sponsors. Thank you so much to REMAX 3D Real Estate, who serves Farmersville and all of the local areas for all of your real estate needs. And thank you to CareVide for providing all of the medical needs that we have here in this community. To find out more about CareVide, you can reach them at carevide.org. Our guest today was Miss Debbie Helmberger. I asked her to come on the show because I recently was a part of a photo shoot that she has going for a project for women. I can't wait for you to hear my conversation with Debbie. There's so much to her and to her story. And if you stay through to the end, you may even see a few tears from me. Thank you so much for watching. Here's my conversation with Debbie. Hey y'all, I'm Dennisha Denney, your host of Heart of Farmersville. And today we're sitting down at 12 Stories, and my very, very special guest is Miss Debbie Helmberger. How are you today, Debbie?
I'm doing good. I'm doing well.
Thank you so much for agreeing to come on my show today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Absolutely my pleasure. Thank you.
So I have to share with everyone how I got to know you and how we met. So June West, who is our agent here in Farmersville, I say agent, I always tell her, I'm like, I think June is like a part of the mafia in Farmersville because she knows everyone.
She does.
But I love and adore her so much. I'm so thankful to have her a part of our brokerage. But she had nominated me to be a part of your project that you're working on.
Yes.
And so for We Are Every Woman. And we have June here to see a little bit about that.
We absolutely do.
And so I want you to share with everyone about your project. Let's talk about the We Are Every Woman, what that project is about and how it came about. And just, I want people to see and feel, because I personally got to have that experience last Friday, and it was one of the coolest experiences of my life.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad, because that's our goal. It started because I was a teacher, and I taught photography, but I had a photography business on the side. And so I was constantly learning new styles, and I had run across something similar to this. This is more of my style, taken from what I had learned. But I also had this very close-knit set of friends here in Farmersville that every once in a while they would pick on themselves, as women tend to do. And I kept saying, but you don't see what I see. And so I got them to agree to let me photograph them and do this style. And when they could see what I saw, I don't know, it just opens their eyes a little bit.
It does. So how did you create this style? Does it have a name? I've never seen anything like these.
Well, I mean, we kind of just call it, at the studio, we just call it flowy. We're going to do the flowy pictures now. Or sometimes we call it the signature look.
Oh, but I like that, the signature, because this is your signature.
It is my signature.
So now that I've done it and people don't, you think, okay, this is what I thought. I thought I'm going to go in, I'm going to have this dress on, and there's going to be these massive like commercial fans blowing this material. But tell everyone how you actually do that.
Okay, so this is what's called a composite. And when you look at this photo right here.
Miss Patty McGuire. We have to give
Patty
her
McGuire.
a shout out.
So there's this picture of her, that's one. This picture of this piece of material is 2, 3, 4, and then the background is 5. So that's actually 5 images morphed, blended together.
Put together.
And then there are no fans. This isn't a dress. It's a piece of material where we fit it on her, and we take a picture of her. And then I have somebody, my assistants are throwing that material, and we take about 10 shots of the material, and then I just pick out the best ones and blend it all together, and then this is what we have. So everyone is completely unique.
Yes, yes. And you had tons of colors to pick from and all that. It was really cool.
Did
you see a concept? Like, how in your creative mind, how did you get to this place?
So one of the ladies that I saw, she was a maternity photographer out of New York. And she used material quite a bit, and she would throw it. It was never as big. It was more swooshing around the front and kind of just soft, because it's maternity. But I really wanted to show how strong and bold and fierce women can be. Fierce, not fierce in scary, but bold and out there, because I always feel like that we do so much and sometimes we aren't seen of all the things that we do. Because, I mean, think of all the different hats that you wear in one day.
I know.
In one
really is
day.
incredible.
Especially, you know, I'm slowing down because my kids have moved out, but when they were little, it was constant. It was constant.
And sometimes women feel like they get lost in the crowd.
Exactly.
And lost in the shuffle.
Exactly.
Or they feel like they lose their identity of who they are. And because they've been everything to everyone else.
That's exactly what it is. I'm just trying to remind some people. Some people don't need to be reminded. They remember already. But it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different. It's beautiful. It's strong. It's fierce, and I love that about it.
I love that you're pulling all these together. You have 50 different women that you're pulling together, and share with everyone what you're doing with these 50 women.
Okay, so in 2020, I had, in February, before COVID, I had a very small show of about 20 of the women that I had shot already. And then the idea was that I was going to have another show, like an exhibit, with all the women. So I'm actually going to have more than 50.
Oh, cool.
But I was working, and I was still teaching, and so I hadn't opened it up big. Well, I quit teaching last year, so I did not teach in 2020, 2021. And I started the project, and my goal was to get 50 women. So right now I have 18 more than I need to get. We're planning to have our exhibit, whether or not I get those 18, either in September or October.
I'm going to help you get those 18, by the way.
Okay, that would be great. I really appreciate that, because I want people to see this. But
I want the women to experience it.
That's
After
wonderful.
doing it, that's what I want. It made me think of people who needs this experience, who needs to be reminded of the woman that God created them to be.
And also, it's also about connection, because we're all so uniquely different, but we all are kind of the same. And so when these are displayed, it will have her name under it, and then it'll have 5 of those hats that we were talking about underneath there. But then also we're putting together a little magazine that goes with the show, and so every woman that is in the show will be in that magazine, and she will have the opportunity to tell her story. And there's so many different stories. I mean, I talk to these women, and they bring me to tears sometimes.
I know. That's why I love this show, Heart of Farmersville, because we talk about stories.
Yeah.
And stories that's what make us who we are, and that's how we become who we are.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So.
I love how you're doing it through imagery and through photography.
Because I'm a visual person, so and it's like, I mean, when I taught, one of the things that I used to, because I taught yearbook too, and so I would have these close relationships with my editors, and sometimes I would just like be staring at them, and I was like, I'm sorry, but your shirt goes with your lipstick and your hair, and I really want to take a photo of you right now, because it just clicked, you know, and it's just like, I want to show your beauty. I want to show your beauty.
You have such a knack for that too. Just after going through the experience, you really do have that eye for it.
Thank you.
But here's the thing. It's awkward and uncomfortable to get into this beautiful material, to get into all the different dresses and outfits and things that you have. It feels uncomfortable. It's definitely outside of our normal comfort zone, because as women, we don't always just put ourselves out there like that. But you and your ladies made it so relaxing and comfortable. And like, you made me feel safe because it feels vulnerable, but you made me feel like I really was beautiful. Like You really
were beautiful. You really are beautiful.
I really should smile, and I really can do this. And turning on the music and finding out what kind of music, what kind of genre the ladies like, and just, you made it so much fun. So you are accomplishing your goal with that. So my question for you is, have you done this?
I haven't.
Debbie, you
I
have
know.
to do this.
You're the third person who's told me that, and I
Yes.
know I should. I really need to do it before I have 3 assistants. I'm going to give a shout out. It's Kaylee and Maddie and Molly. They're the best.
They are.
They are
Yes.
the best. And all 3 of them are going off to college. I'm rolling my eyes because it's a little stressful for me because they are so good in what they do. They know I want to give great service in that it's all about you on that day. And so they make sure that we're doing all the little things. I mean, they're making sure you have something to drink, and then they're helping you pick
Yes.
out clothes. We have the big closet, and they're helping you pick out the outfits that you want to wear, and they're helping you get in and out of it. So I really am going to miss them very much, but they're such a great. I really forgot where I was going with this.
You're so blessed. No,
but
you're
they're
so blessed.
such
You're so blessed to have them.
I am.
And so, but here's the thing: you have your books there that have all the poses, and you will train another group to come through and be able to do that with you. And people come in our life in seasons, they're never going to
exactly right.
forget these moments, all of these stories, because while we're there, we're talking about our stories, and they got to hear all these stories.
That's exactly right.
So not only are you making a difference in the guest, you're making a difference in the ladies that are
lives.
helping you. We just had so much
And
fun.
I'm really hoping that when we do the exhibit that they'll come back into town and be there, because I feel like they're such an integral part
Yes.
of the whole process.
Okay, I really, I'm telling you officially right here, you need to be on the display in the project,
Oh my
a
gosh.
part of it. You're the leader
That's
of
where
it.
we were going. That's where we
Yes.
were going, and come in circle back. Because before they go to college, I've thought we need to do this and have them do it for me.
Listen, I will come and cheer you on. I don't know anything about photography, but I will come and make you feel as beautiful as you made me feel in that experience. So, okay, what inside of you, somewhere along the way, you see women differently, just like what you just said. You look at a woman and you see her beauty, and you see that positive side of her. What happened in your life to make you see that? What made you choose to see that? It's a choice. That's a choice if you choose to see that beauty.
I don't know.
And then made you want to show them what you see.
Yeah.
Like you took that to the next step.
I had somebody the other day was talking to me about my photography and said, "You have your photography and you love that, and you have a passion for photography." And I said, "That is so cliche." But it made me start thinking, because so many photographers go, "I have a passion for photography,
Right.
and I like to take long walks along the beach." It's cliche.
Right.
And I got to thinking about it, and it's like, I don't really have a passion for photography. I have a passion for people. I love people. I think they're interesting. I like to sit and watch people. And same thing. And so that is part of it. So my photography is just the camera is just my tool to show people what I see. Okay, so you don't know. You know a little bit about me. You don't know everything. So we have 8 children.
Wow. 8.
And we moved to Farmersville in '91, and I really thought we were going to live here 10 years and move. In that 10 years, our 5th child died.
Oh,
And I was
Debbie,
pregnant
I'm
with my
so
other,
sorry.
I was pregnant with my twins at the time. Farmersville reached out. People I didn't know were coming and taking care of us, whether it was bringing us food or just showing up and saying, "I live right around the corner, and if you ever need anything, I'm here." And as my children grew too, that's where I gathered those friends. Because my husband at the time was traveling so much, he worked for a boiler company. He's an engineer, but he was working for a boiler company, and boilers don't come to you, you go to boilers.
Right.
And so he traveled. Well, with all those children, these women rallied around me, and we gained these strong friendships that we still have these friendships today. I've known women for 30 years, 20 years. And
did you not have those friendships before
no,
that tragedy?
Because
not at that level.
Right, because we moved here in '91, and that happened in '94.
Okay.
So we were
new.
My oldest son started kindergarten here, but he was in 2nd grade. So I had one friend already, and then we gained more and more. And they just helped me. They would help me get my kids to ball games and that sort of thing.
Was that
So-
hard for you?
Yes.
Was that hard for you to for you to even ask them, or, sometimes as women we feel like we need to do everything on our own, but then sometimes we get
Right.
to a place like, I can't do this on my own,
Right.
and I welcome your help.
So I'm going to tell you this story. And her name's Doris Dillon. She lives here. She used to work for the school district. And this is the kind of person she is, and this is the kind of friends that I have. So it was one of my daughter's birthdays, and all the little girls were going to be coming over. But her brothers had football games, pee-wee football games. So I have them at the football games. We're cheering it on, but now the football games have gone late, which means I'm not going to get home in time to finish getting that birthday party set up before those kids come in. And Doris just came up to talk to me and say hi, and she could see it in my eyes. And she said, "What's wrong?" And I told her, and she said, I got it. And she and her daughter went to my house, started the meal, decorated everything, so that when the football game was over, we walked in, and then the guests came, and it was all set up.
Oh, that just gives
So,
me chills.
Those
That's
are the kind
true
of people.
friendship.
Those are the kind of people that are here in
Wow.
Farmersville. You can find them, and they're amazing. And so anyway, so as we've gone on and been friends, they're picking on themselves, and it's like, no, I see you completely different. And then I show them, and this is what I see. I see these strong, bold women, yet kind and compassionate and willing to put their needs aside to help you,
Right.
so.
Because you saw them differently. You were going through loss and tragedy, and I can't even understand what that must feel like. And so you did get to see people make that sacrifice to come into your life and help and be a part of that. And I can see how that would make your lens change because you weren't jaded or, just thinking
Right.
no one really cared and, you weren't alone. So what was it, can I ask what it was like going through losing a child and like how you get through that? Because there may be someone watching that have lost a child and they're trying to get through that process.
So my family is religious. I'm going to throw that out there.
Please do.
You know,
should.
we're religious and strong in our faith, and you have to grasp onto God. I'm not going to tell you that I wasn't angry at him. I was for years and years.
Yes.
But I kept asking him to show me signs that this was right. This is a whole nother story I'm going into.
I love stories. No,
Okay.
Please share.
So for years and years and years, because she's been gone now for 28 years.
Oh, wow.
And it's still, sorry.
You
She was-
never lose that. That's your baby.
She was
That's your
18 months
child.
old. And so I started teaching. Part of the reason why I started teaching was because I knew I could give back. Because I knew I could help these kids see their potential. And so and I started here in Farmersville, and I worked here for 12 years.
Oh, wow.
And then I went to Melissa and worked there for a while, and then I ended in Frisco. But going back to that story, I kept asking God, what little signs, why? What lesson did I have to learn? I have to back up a little bit. So it's God, and then you have to hang on to your family, and then you have to hang on to your friends.
Right.
And you do have to be vulnerable. You have to be able to be vulnerable, because all of my friends, those women that I talked about, they've seen me break down before.
Right.
Because some days the wall is strong, and some days it's just not. And it's still that way.
And that's just how grief is too. Just it's a process, and you don't know which
Right.
day is up and which way is down.
Right, usually, right. And you learn how to kind of deal with it and manipulate it a little bit. But so anyway, asking God why. So 18 years later, had some great friends at the high school. The coaches, they were actually the coaches that won state. And I shared a room with one to teach, and then another one, my son was on his baseball team. Well, his daughter ended up getting cancer, and his daughter was 6 months older than my son. And our families had become very close friends. And so while they were going through that cancer, we would do what we could to support them. But she ended up dying just before she was 10. just before she died. But also Farmersville was amazing because the baseball and the softball teams, even when he wasn't a coach here, they would have benefits for her. The Princeton game, all the baseball and softball teams would donate hot dogs to the concession stand, and all the proceeds to the hot dogs went to the family.
Oh.
And I mean, the first time we did it in 1 week, because we decided to do it 1 week before, they earned like $6,500 in a week.
Wow.
And it was insane. Those kids were
incredible.
they were just.
They just rallied.
They
around
rallied
the
for
family.
them. But anyway, going back, because I stray, before she died, he contacted me and he said, what did you do to keep your other kids sane? How did you help them get through this?
Right.
And I realized, because I started doing some research, what can you do and what did we do? But what I realized was, because I wasn't finding the answers, that now my children were grown and I could ask them what we did to make sure that they had a healthy relationship with this. Because my kids at the time when she died, they were 3, 5, 6, and 7.
Oh, wow. They were so young.
They were very young.
And it's hard to wrap your brain around losing your sister.
Right. And his children at the time were 5 and 7.
The exact same ages.
Same ages. So I was able to actually interview my own children and find out what we did. And then I was able to pass that information on to them. I hope it helped.
Right.
I think it helped. But that was when I found some peace. And I was like, okay, there's no way I could have ever learned that lesson any other way.
Right. So 18 years later.
18 years
you
later.
finally get that piece of some vision of why.
Because there were
happened.
little things popping up all the time. And I would scream at him and go, that's not enough.
Right.
I could have learned it some other way.
You didn't have to teach me that way. You didn't have to take her for that.
Not that I didn't still love God and embrace Him, but at the same time, you can be angry at your loved ones, and
yes,
so.
It's part of it. I think it's okay, but you kept talking to God. It's when you shut Him totally out that you go into a very bad place. But being able to talk to Him and say, "I'm mad at you for taking my daughter. I'm mad at you for that," and He does begin to heal our heart, but. I also feel like those stories are what let us be a witness to other people and to help them through that journey, just like you were for the coach's family. You were able to help them through that. I
hope I did.
You are just like incredible. I mean, just,
I'm normal.
This is what I love. No,
because
you're not normal, Debbie.
Yes, yeah,
No.
all these women have stories.
Yes.
And that's part of what that exhibit
Yes.
is sharing those stories, because you're going to find somebody who is different from you, but at the same time the same. We all go through things and we all have to support each other.
Yes.
And that's how you get through it. I got through it through the people.
Oh. That's
yes,
such a blessing.
through God, yes. I'm
Of
going to go back
course.
to God.
Well,
but
always.
it's through the people. You have to hang on to your family. You have to hang on to your friends. You have to let people. I had one friend who she just called me every Wednesday. That's all she did. And she didn't even always talk about it. She just talked about life. And that's sometimes all you need.
Yes.
Is something that's normal.
And something to take your mind off of it and go and just to
That's
change
exactly
that rail that you're on. Sometimes we get on a track and we cannot get off the track and we need that phone call. And I've had friends, reach out and just say, you know what, I'm thinking about you today.
Exactly.
I'm praying for you today. And I mean, you sharing this story reminds me, I need to do a better job of that with my own friends, reaching out to them and just telling them I'm thinking about them.
And that's
praying for
exactly
them.
right. I do try to do that. I don't always do it. Like you just said, I don't always do it.
Right. But you're inspiring me to do that. So
Okay,
you're
wonderful.
making a difference in me. So we're on Heart of Farmersville. And man, you've shared a great story about how Farmersville rallied around you. So I want to talk about what you love about Farmersville. And I also want to talk about a little fun fact that you were the mayor's wife.
Oh, yes.
And so I want to talk about what it was like to be the mayor's wife from your perspective. And And that's all going to tie into what you love about this community. You and your husband could not have been mayor, and you been the mayor's wife without you loving this community. You don't serve in those roles.
Right.
Those roles are hard roles.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because you do it with the passion for the community, and then you have to do real life with it. And so getting to that, finding that common ground of what is the best decision for the community. But every person who steps up to run for those positions always does it with the heart and love for the community. So share with me a little bit. What do you love about Farmersville, and how was that journey?
I really love the community. I love the community and the feeling that you get. We moved here because when I looked at this cutie little town, I knew that my kids could walk down the street, and we live a couple of blocks off of the square, so they could walk downtown and they could have that childhood that was disappearing, because we lived in Arlington at one point, and there was no way my kids could even go in the front yard.
Oh.
And so my kids could ride their bikes up and down the streets and just explore and be kids. And that's what I really loved about it. But then, we have all the events. We have Old Time Saturday, and of course we have the Farmersville Market, and it's just like you go out there and you see people and you genuinely love them and you spend time visiting with them, or you just walk down the streets. I mean, when COVID came, I was so thankful that I lived here, because I could walk and I could run into somebody, but we were still able to stand apart but have a conversation. And so I could still get that feeling of connection. There's such a feeling of connection here.
Oh, I love that word. That's true. It's very connected. People are connected. I'm not just like, hey, I know you, but I've noticed there's genuine connections.
Exactly.
With stories.
Exactly. One of my favorite memories is I was sitting at the ball fields, and it was the fundraiser for Jerry McTee. I don't know if you know him, but he's a little boy here in town, and they have a fundraiser for him every year, and there was a band playing, and then there was a little silent auction going on, and then there was a softball tournament going on, and there was like barbecue, and I can remember sitting on there and just watching, because of course I'm a people watcher.
You're a people watcher.
Watching all the people and watching them connect and hug and love each other, and they were doing all of this for him. And of course then the dramatic movie scene, the wind is lightly blowing, and I was just like, this is why I love this town so much. So much.
You had a visual for it, not just a feeling, but that moment gave you.
And that moment stuck with me, because I actually said out loud, I love this town.
Oh, I love that.
But I wasn't sitting with anybody. I was just sitting there observing.
Right. But that was your moment. That was your moment to say, I love that. I do that with my kids. Sometimes I'm like, I'm going to take a picture of this in my mind.
Exactly.
I never want to forget this moment with my child. And so I can see you sitting there and just watching it and taking that photographic picture
it's really
in your
beautiful.
mind of that.
And I don't think we see that enough anymore. You have to go to small towns, the smaller towns, to find it.
You really do. You do. But I think that's why people love, like on Saturdays, to come here and come, shop in the downtown and walk the streets. They're not even from here, but they want that sense of community and that feeling that they get here.
Exactly.
And so Farmersville just does an incredible job with that.
They do. They do.
All right, Debbie.
Okay.
It's time for me to ask you your final question. So I told you at the beginning of the show, I would want you to pick a number between 1 and 20, and that's going to be your final random question.
Okay, so before we do that, I would like to show everybody your picture from this, because you had it done last Friday.
Yes.
And so I worked really hard to get it done for today, because I knew I was coming.
I can't believe you got that done that fast.
I know. I actually...
It's Thursday. It's not even a week later.
And it does really take longer, but
You told me it would be like 3 weeks. I had no
I haven't
idea.
done the rest of the photos, just this one. But anyway, so here is you.
Oh my gosh. Okay, you showed this to me earlier, and I can't even describe what it feels like to see myself that way. Like, I told you, here's what I told you, I'm just going to be real. I don't know this person.
Right.
That's what that is what I saw. I was like, I don't know her. And you looked at me and said, that's who I know you to be.
That's exactly right. And it's who I see. I see this very strong, confident woman who will take on anything. and accomplish it. It's good.
Okay, so I
good.
didn't cry then, but
She's crying now.
Thank you.
So it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Okay.
It's good. And this is gonna
Now
be in the
I'm hot.
exhibit. This is going to be in the exhibit, and then your story will be in the magazine. And if people want the magazine, they can come and purchase it at the exhibit, and they can read all about you and all about these other women.
Yes.
And it's going, knock on wood, if I can get the 18 more women, it'll be
We'll get
15,
them, Debbie.
it'll be
We're
50
not going to
plus.
let this end without those 18 women. They need this experience. And just sitting here with these ladies here behind us, like you can feel their love and their strength, and just, I don't know, it's very surreal and powerful to sit here and know women are supporting women.
Yeah.
So, and that,
Yeah.
and we
they're
need
all
each other.
Ages. They're all, I
Yes.
think my youngest one was 23 years old, and my oldest one was like 76.
Wow. I love
So,
that.
yeah.
Oh.
Because we all have stories to tell, and we all need to support each other and remind each other, you are beautiful, you can do this, you are strong, you are bold. Go. Just
Drop
go.
the mic, Debbie. That's how we have to end the show right there. Thank you so much. Thank you for the opportunity to come and do this. Thank you for sitting down with me and sharing your story. And I know that's not always easy, especially
It's not.
sharing about the loss of your daughter. And so thank you for that. And I just love what you're doing. Just
thank
keep
you.
doing you.
Thank you. I'm doing my best.
You're doing it. Well, you're doing phenomenal.
Thank you.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you for watching Heart of Farmersville. This video series, which is designed to celebrate Farmersville, Texas, is spearheaded by REMAX 3D Real Estate.